A very pleasant good afternoon to all my dear students. Welcome to another session of Jnana Diksha. My name is Vijayasri, PGT English. Let me begin this session with an interesting quote. I have a dream that my 4 little children will live in a country where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Remember someone who said these words? Yes, I'm sure you've got the right answer. It's none other than Dr. Martin Luther King, the icon of civil rights, as we all know. In his iconic speech, he explicitly demonstrates the greatest spirit of freedom. He took the mission of liberating the black Americans to free from the clutches of slavery, racial discrimination, apartheid, injustice, and so many other issues. It was this mission that led Martin Luther King's life forward. In this speech, we come to know so many issues. Let us list all the issues that Martin Luther King has addressed in this iconic and inspiring speech, which has ranked the most inspiring speeches of the world in the early 20th century. Let's list all the issues that are figured in the speech given by Dr. Martin Luther King. Firstly, he talks about the issue of discrimination. Specifically, he talks about the discrimination on the basis of color and race. Also, he talks about slavery. Injustice. Poverty. From all these things, what do we understand? Is there anything good about all these issues? Definitely not. These seems to be the problems which all the people suffered from. And do you think all these problems were experienced by people only in the time of Martin Luther King? Or even today? Yes, these problems are existing even today. Let us come to understand what are these problems which the people are troubled with. Let us write some more problems based on these examples. We can also have different types of discrimination. That is, discrimination based on caste, discrimination based on religion, discrimination based on class, the difference between the rich and the poor. What do we call all these issues? All these issues are faced by the people living in the society. So, it's apt to call them all as social issues. This is the topic we are going to deal with today. By the end of the session, the students will be able to develop awareness about various social issues. Secondly, they will also be able to understand, think and analyze various social issues which are happening in and around their society. Okay, now let's come to define what is a social issue. As simple as the definition goes, It is nothing but any situation that impacts or affects the lives of people living in a society. And these situations happen at the global level, at the national level, and the regional or the local level. There are innumerable number of problems that people experience day in and day out. You can just take a look at the slide and see what are the different kinds of problems the society is or has been facing since long time. You see the problem of drugs, indifference, racial discrimination, crime and murder, violence against women, sexual assault. All these are the problems which are faced by people living in the society. Now let's discuss the problems that are observed at the global level. Firstly, we talk about the issue of terrorism. Terrorism has created a big terror in all the countries all over the world. Very few countries in the world have generated this, and they've been perpetuating this terrorism in those countries. Still, you see the impact of this terrorism, which is experienced by all the people, all the countries in the entire world. Secondly, we can talk about world wars. World wars where it definitely calls for massive destruction of poverty and loss of lives like never before. All the countries in the world participate, and which affects the people very badly. Next, we go to the issues that are experienced by people at the national level. We talk about poverty. This is a terrific problem, a serious problem faced by India. Because of overpopulation, many people have remained poor, and due to poverty, there are many other problems which are generated out of poverty. Like, due to poverty, people are starving, people are homeless, unemployment and illiteracy, child labor, many other problems are followed due to poverty. Next, we have gender bias. You see, since ancient times, women are perceived as inferior and weak. They never given opportunity on par with men. They were all the time remained to the confines of the house. So that was the state of affairs in the olden days. What about the status of women today? Even now, education has brought about a massive change in the status of women. Still, you see, there are inequalities that are observed between male and female genders. Next, we talk about domestic violence. Violence against women is deep-rooted in India. 29% of reported cases on women are observed in India, in rural areas, and 26% of urban women have reported cases of sexual abuse in India. It is surprising to know that every day 1 out of 9 children get sexually assaulted in India. What a shocking state of affairs. You see how many girl children are being sexually violated and assaulted. Such a very sad state of affairs. At this point, I would like to say that girl children need empowerment. They need to be taught the skills of self-defense and empowerment. Here, I take this opportunity to express the plight faced by the migrant workers. In the wake of COVID-19 pandemic, you see many people, many migrant workers have come to streets in finding no work and nowhere to live. They are so desperate that they have started their journey to go back to their hometowns, and finding no other means of transport, they have started going to their places all on foot. What a sad state of affairs. Now, I want to bring to you many other major social issues that are happening in our country. Firstly, caste system, poverty, which I've already discussed, child labor. Child labor is also one of the consequences of poverty. Child marriage, illiteracy, lower status of women, in other words, gender bias, gender inequality at work too, dowry system, superstition, the false beliefs which binds the freedom of people, sanitation and cleanliness, religious conflicts, beggary, juvenile delinquency, overpopulation, terrorism, corruption, unemployment, cybercrime, domestic violence, and many more. The list is unending. Now you see, all these problems are creating divide between the people. People are no longer able to live together in harmony because of these social problems that are existing in our society. People are unable to live together in peace and harmony. So it is creating a great divide between the people of different categories. Now, at this point, I would like to focus more on certain social issues which I will be explaining in the form of a small story. Are you all interested to listen an interesting motivational story? Yes, I know you're all very excited. Right. This is a story which is based on sanitation and cleanliness. It is a motivational story. The title of the story is The New Blue Dress. I'm sure everybody must be familiar with this story, but I would like to remind to you all once again. Now, in the city of Cleveland in 1990, there lived a people in a lane called Gates Avenue. In this lane, the people are all very dirty, unclean. They had no running water, they had no pavement or roads, and their houses were all dirty. They had a railway line nearby, and that added to noise and dirt. There were no street lights. That was the picture of this village or the street or neighborhood. And it was springtime. Friends, let me tell you that springtime, the spring season, is the most delightful of all seasons. It brings festivity and joy to all the people. After hard, dry and cold winters comes the spring season. People look forward to this season because the days get warmer and brighter. It's the most lovable of all seasons. And the spring has come, and all the other people in the around the Gates Avenue have started mending their houses, repairing their houses. They've started gardening. They've started repairing all the surroundings. And the Gates Avenue street continued to be the same. And all the children who would go to school nearby the Gates Avenue have started wearing new dresses every day. And a girl from Gates Avenue Lane wore a dirty dress even on the day the spring season has started. The teacher observed this girl. She asked this girl to wear a new dress, or she asked this girl to take a fresh bath and come back to school the next day. To the teacher's surprise, the girl came back in the same old dirty dress, but her face was just washed clean and tidy. But the teacher was not really very happy about this, because the girl wore the same dirty dress. It was very untidy. And here the teacher thought that she had to do something to help this girl. Her idea was to change this girl. But we'll come to know what wonders the teacher's idea has created in the whole street. Now, the next day, the teacher brings a new present for this girl from the Gates Avenue. And what is the gift? We all love gifts, isn't it? And the teacher presented the girl with a bright blue dress. It was very pretty. It was very beautiful. The girl received the gift and she was thrilled to receive the gift. And she rushes back home to his mother, saying that what a wonderful gift she has received from her teacher. Her mother immediately gave her a refreshing bath and immediately put on that new bright blue dress. And the mother is also very happy to look at her daughter, how tidy, how beautiful she looks. And later in the evening, her father arrives home. He just couldn't believe that it was his own daughter, so pretty and beautiful. He was amazed to see that he had such a lovely daughter. Now, and he's also surprised to see that a tablecloth was spread on the dining table. What a mighty change. This is something which has never happened for years. After they had supper, his wife even cleaned the kitchen floor. The father was observing his wife silently. What happened that so many good things are happening in his house? He watched her silently, and then something sparked in his mind. He immediately went out and started repairing his surroundings. He started mending his house. He started to clean up his garden. And the neighbors are very curious to know that what is happening in their neighbor's house. And the neighbor happened to see this man repairing his house. He was inspired too. He wanted to mend his house also. He wanted to clean up his surroundings. And both men have briskly started the cleanup work from that day onwards. And a minister of the church happened to pass by that way one day, and he saw that these two men are briskly working at repairing their houses. He wanted to do something for these people, and out of concern, he arranged for the street lights. He arranged for nice roads. He arranged for running water. And he arranged for everything nice and beautiful. And you see, one idea has transformed the whole street of the Gates Avenue. Who knows what wonders a teacher's gift can do? Here, I would like to talk about the significance of the color blue in the story. The bright blue color stands or symbolizes for trust, dependability, enduring nature, strength, cleanliness and dignity, and the blue color very aptly suitable for this story. So here the children are all very happy because this girl has started becoming like every other girl in the school. What a mighty transformation has taken place in that village or in that street. So from this story, what do we get to learn? Cleanliness and sanitation is very, very important for our healthy life. It's very important to practice healthy habits for a healthy living. Next, I have another interesting story about a child just of your age. This boy, whose name is Oliver Smith. He was an orphan and he was brought into a workhouse where he would be fed 3 meals per day along with some work to learn. And the problem in this workhouse is that the children were given meal which consisted of thin gruel, which was not enough to satisfy the hunger of those little boys, which is very, very insufficient for those young boys. And the boys were really starving even after having their meal. One of the boys, who was tall for his age, threatened the other boys that one day, out of desperate hunger, would eat one of those weakest boys to satisfy his hunger. All the other boys were terrified. They believed that this boy would definitely do this. And it was decided that they would cast lots. That is, they throw chits to know who would go up to the master and ask for more food for this tall boy. And they did cast the lots. Fortunately or unfortunately, the lot was in the name of Oliver. Out of all his courage, he proceeds to the master and asks for more food. The master was stupefied to hear when Oliver Smith said, "Sir, please give me more." He was bewildered. He was astonished that how dare this little creature could ask for more food. That was something unlawful. That was something never expected from these boys. Immediately he takes this boy to the board and presents him before them. After hearing that this boy has asked for more, they pronounce the judgment that they cannot put up with this boy anymore, and he will be given away to somebody with a reward of 5 pounds, and that person can take him to as a slave or can use him for any useful trade. Just for asking for some more food has brought him more troubles. Look at the plight of this boy, Oliver Smith, being an orphan. Orphan children face terrible struggles in their life. It is these orphans who become child delinquents because they are starving, they are homeless, they are not taken care of. Nobody can accept them, nobody can give them the need, nobody can satisfy the need for love and affection. these people are deprived of all these beautiful feelings. And these are the children who become criminals. They learn to do robbery. They learn to do some crimes in order to get money. Many more problems are generated because they are orphans. Such orphan children need to be taken care of. What do you think is our contribution or our share in helping such children? In what way you think we can do some help to deliver them from struggles? This is a question for all of us to think seriously. Now, I have another beautiful poem by Rabindranath Tagore to discuss the concept of freedom, which is a social issue of national importance. Now, you all must be familiar with this poem, where the mind is without fear. He talks about the concept of freedom, where the people live in harmony without any discrimination, without any kind of ill feeling towards the people of other groups, where they are enlightened and educated, where education is given access to all the people irrespective of any caste or gender discrimination. He wanted his people to give up all those blinding beliefs or superstitions which are really making them all the more downtrodden. He wanted his people to work hard so that they can reach the level of perfection. He wanted his people to give up those superstitions which will never take them forward. He also was talking about tireless striving, and also he wants his people to speak the words from the depths of truth and honesty. And when all the people follow these things, it is the true state of freedom. That's how he defines freedom in true spirit. He visions for India which is free from all these binding beliefs and attitudes. When the people are free from slavery and negative thinking, discrimination, categorization, that is the state when India has achieved freedom in its true sense. And he says that this freedom is like heaven. This he calls as the freedom of heaven. Heaven is a state of perfection where there is happiness, complete happiness, where there is absolute joy and freedom. And he wants his country to awaken to the fact that they are free from all these evils. And he, in this poem, he prays to God that to set his countrymen free and awaken them from all these binding beliefs and attitudes. And that is real freedom, according to Rabindranath Tagore. This poem was written during pre-independent India. Tagore has not seen India becoming free yet, but he conceived or he dreamed of this free nation. Now we are all free, but do you see that we are free from all these beliefs and attitudes? This is a question to you all. Are we free of discrimination? Are we free of gender bias? Are we not discriminating people on the basis of religion? Are there not class differences still? They are still existing in our country, sad to say. Now, another interesting story I have to share with you. Yes, this is a story called The Storied House. It's a story about a 65-year-old man called Bhayaji. He was a very sincere, honest and hard-working man. He was a Dalit by caste. He has finished his service and returning to his hometown to spend the rest of his life. And all his family members were excited to receive him after many years. Bhayaji was indeed coming back home after many years. His sons and daughters, their children are already there awaiting his coming. Bhayaji comes home. Everybody was excited and happy to see that Bhayaji has come back home. And his children all gather around him, asking or expecting what gifts his father must have brought for them. Bhayaji is amused that his children are expecting gifts from him as if they are still small children. But to their amazement, Bhayaji had an idea about which is the best gift that he can give to his children that will last longer and ever. And he reveals that he wants to construct a storied house. They were all surprised because Bhayaji's family was very big. They cannot even have meal sitting everybody together. It was so short and congested that it was not enough for them at all. And Bhayaji wanted to give the best gift of a storied house to his children. And without any delay, Bhayaji started the construction of a storied house. And there are many others who grew jealous of him. These are the people who are called as the high caste people in the village. They came to know that Bhayaji, a Mahar, a Dalit by caste, is venturing to construct a storied house, which really troubled their hearts. They just could not digest that Bhayaji is trying to raise his standards on par with them. One day, a villager, probably one of the village elder persons, approaches Bhayaji and says that he cannot dare to construct a storied house. Why not? Because he says that the poor should remain poor. The Dalits should be happy with their cottages. They cannot think of rising above their level. So these are the words. And once again, he threatens him not to dare to construct a storied house. So Bhayaji felt very bad after this. That was his lifetime ambition. That was his dream. He wanted to give the best gift for his children, and now somebody doesn't want his dream to come true. He started laying the foundation of his house. From the outside, it appeared as if it was a normal house with 3 portions. But from within, through the kitchen, a staircase was laid up to the first floor, and nobody could see that from the outside. A wise thinking, isn't it? And the house was completed. The day of housewarming ceremony has come. Bhayaji invited all his friends, guests, relatives, musicians to entertain them all. Everything, the house was decorated with beautiful lights, colorful lights. Very, very amusing, very, very entertaining environment was created to celebrate this great day. And even the village elders, Kondiba Patil, was also invited for the ceremony. And he has taken them inside to see the house. They come inside and they could only be invited for pan supari. And a sweet pan supari, can anybody say no to it? I loved the taste of sweet pan supari as a child. And this man, when he was offered the pan supari, he immediately rejects the offering, saying, "No, it's enough that you have given this offering, that you have offered this." And because he felt uneasy at the sight of this mighty house constructed by a Dalit, he just could not tolerate it anymore. And he says that everything is so good, and he admires the house and he admires everything so well, and they go out of the house. Bhayaji was busy looking after the arrangements, looking after the guests, and he was seeing that every good care is taken for all his guests. And when everybody was engrossed in the bhajans and those musicals, something unexpected happened. An undreamt of event has taken place. Bhayaji's house suddenly caught fire. What a tragedy! In no time, the house was engulfed with flames from all sides. People have started panicking. They were all running around helter-skelter. And Bhayaji didn't know what was happening. And he started grabbing the portraits of Lord Buddha and Baba Saheb Ambedkar, and he was trying to quench the fire. It so happened that when he was about to climb down the staircase, it collapsed and he remained on the floor, which was wooden. And even before he could think of jumping down, the first floor itself came down, along with it Bhayaji. Bhayaji was burnt very badly. He was on the floor. He was scorched. All the people, his family members, surrounded Bhayaji. And it was clear that there are no hopes of Bhayaji living further. It was clear that Bhayaji was going to die. His elder son was godly. He realized this and he comes to his father and asks for his last wish. Bhayaji says, "I want you to build a storied house." Even after his house being burnt very badly, the determination to give the best gift for his children could not be scorched, could not be crushed. With great determination, Bhayaji's son gathers up all the courage and strength to rebuild the house. The relatives who had come to celebrate the housewarming ceremony have entered into the house of mourning. That situation has turned into a grief one. Everybody was very sad. What a tragedy. Who do you think is the culprit? Who do you think has done this mischief? It's evident and clear that it is none other than Kondiba Patil and his companions. They never wanted Baiyaji to accomplish his task of building a storied house. And what type of discrimination do you find here? It is caste discrimination. So much disaster and destructions are happening in the name of caste discrimination. What a tragic end to this story. And after Baiyaji's death, his elder son, with great determination, started the work of rebuilding the storied house. Not a normal house which did not appear from outside that it was a storied house, but a real storied house where everybody can see that it is a storied house. It is with this spirit he started constructing his house. So here you can see not only this incident or not only in this story, that even in our day-to-day lives we see so many issues are happening in our society on the basis of caste discrimination. We can take the example of honor killings. These murders are taking place among the own family members because they never wanted to they could not accept intercaste marriages. So the father is killing his own child. So many issues are happening. So here, what do you think that we can do? Are they still prevalent today? Yes, very much. We can see may not be prominent and profound like untouchability, but very subtly these feelings are very much present in the minds of the people. And when the time comes, they are exhibited. Therefore, I earnestly urge all my students that to be aware of all these social issues. Can we control them? Can we get rid of all these problems? Is it possible? Can we have a free and independent nation just like how Rabindranath Tagore dreamt of? How is it possible? How can we get rid of all these problems? It is only through being and staying united. We are all human beings of one kind. We are all one. The humanity. We need to believe and trust on one another. We need to respect and honor the people of different groups. Only then there is harmony and peace, so that people can enjoy living together without any feelings of hatred or hostility between or among the people of different groups. Now, it's the time for homework. I want you all to prepare a table with 3 columns for writing various social issues under global, national and local or regional level. Secondly, write a conversation between the girl's parents based on the story The New Blue Dress. I hope it will be very convenient for you to write these 2 works. So I am very glad to have given this opportunity, and I am very thankful to our secretary and all the people who have worked together to bring this program to you all. Thank you very much.